What's up, Gripsters and random YouTubers? Evan here for Grips.com, and we got some good stuff going on. 3 Sundays ago, Team Grips member xxmmarioxx shipped the Big Ben on Full Tilt Poker for just over $17,000. Wow. Buy-in was $109, which means he netted about 170 buy-ins, a very solid Sunday score if you ask me. This is part 3 of what will probably be a 4-part video, possibly 5, maybe even 6, since there are just so many interesting hands. As a reminder, I can't show every hand since that would take just about forever, so I'm only going to go through the hands where our hero was involved. And once we get down to the final 3 tables, I will probably look at every hand so we can try to get a feel for what sorts of reads our hero had and what game flow things were going on, because the dynamics get a lot more important the deeper you get in the tournament. Anyway, let's get into the action. If you missed last week's episode, then you don't know how we won this big pot. Well, you know we made a flush, but you don't know what the action was, so I'd encourage you to go back and check it out. It'll get you one step closer to having a 17K score of your own. On to the next one. We got the Jack 3 off, and this guy has 15 blinds. We got a lot of chips. We could attack him. Maybe make it like 18. Or we could limp in, and if he wants to let us see a free flop, that's perfectly fine. Take a stab, and he mocks. Limping in and then trying to steal on the flop is perfectly valid option. Min raising is also a valid option. It really just depends, like, how many chips do you want to commit with this hand. And even though we have total trash, like, we're getting really good pot odds pre-flop, 5.2 to 1, so just open folding against an opponent who's not going to be like shoving on us all the time or raising us all the time, it's probably giving up a little bit of an edge. So I like that we saw that flop, and I'm of course happy that we took it down. Here we got the chips, we got the button. It's fine. I don't love the raise because the guy in the small blind has 15 blinds, pretty good reshove stack. And we're pretty deep with the big blind, so I'd like to have a hand that has a bit more value, like suitedness or connectedness. But that being said, raising the button is almost never bad. But we got jammed on, so we're out. And folding that. Yeah, some reship stacks behind. We got to be careful there. All right, 8-7 suited. Raising from early position. Definitely not like a must open, but not a bad open at all. As you get deeper in the tournament, you want to be taking more opens if you can, because there's just more money to be won by picking up the blinds and antes. And anytime you see me actually like clicking through a hand, but not all the way to the finish, that's because probably raised that hand if folded to, but as soon as I see someone else has entered the pot, then yeah, it's a fold. Don't really love the Jack 8 suited open under the gun. It's a lot of players to get through, and it's one of those hands that like looks a lot better than it actually is. But yeah, I'd probably just fold, but that's just me. A lot of players to get through there, and a lot of people who have deep stacks who can, you know, make it difficult for us to just like auto win the pot post flop. Okay, so here we got an open from a 20 big blind stack. Oh, this is tough. We could 3-bet and call off. Flatting versus 20 big blind stack. I don't think I love calling someone that shallow, so I think if we're going to play the hand, the play is probably to 3-bet with the intention of calling off. Mario opts to flat. Flops pretty good. It's really close between raising to just call off, or, you know, to shut out the hands that have maybe 2 overcards, 26% equity. But I feel that calling is probably the way to go here, and just let him keep betting. You know, even if he has 24% equity, that's if he sees both cards. He only has a 12% chance of improving on each street if he has 2 overcards, and if he has an overpair, money's going in anyway. Maybe the board will run out in such a way that we get saved if he has an overpair. So I like to call him when he checks. I think we should just bet with the intention of calling. He's most often giving up on the pot, but there are some rivers that we don't want to see, and you know, if he has like 12%, but he's not going to bluff when he misses, what's the point in giving him a free card? Okay. Pocket sixes, definitely going to open, and interesting. I don't know what the dynamic is between us. Coming at me, bro, that's fairly aggressive. I've seen him involved in some pots. Wow. We could shove it in. If we think he's light, we pick up 9K. And even if he's not light, most of the time he has unpaired cards, so we have the best hand. Flatting, 30 blinds deep. I mean, we're getting a pretty good price pre 3.3 to 1. So we need to win about, I don't know, 8K post to make it worth it. I don't think I really love flatting here. I think I'd either shove or fold. But Mario likes to go against me, and he likes to flop sets, so I'd imagine we just call. No sense in letting the cat out of the bag that we have a really strong hand here. If our opponent has an overpair, we don't want him to be concerned. We don't want to give him any reason to think his hand's no good. We want to feign weakness. And if our opponent has a draw, well, he probably wouldn't fold it anyway. So let's just let him keep barreling with it. Definitely. Wow, you are so tricky, man. You're so tricky. I would love to hear the reasons for the check there. And I hope we bet the river. Okay. I'm a little puzzled by the check there. Again, I don't know it's a spot that coming at me bro would bluff too much. But maybe if he thinks we float with like king queen on that board, then he might try to bluff us out on brick rivers. I think personally I like a small bet on the turn, but I'll be interested to hear Mario's reasons for checking it back. I don't know why I'm showing that hand. We're not involved, and it really doesn't matter who wins it. Looks like it was I melt face. So we'll fold the kitchies, we'll fold the 3-5. We will not be folding 2 10s. That's for sure. And I see bet seems in order. Pretty like dry board, pretty unlikely to have hit our opponents. We probably just have the best hand most of the time, so maybe something around 4K would be pretty good. And opponents fold. Cool. Akon and young Jeezy. Ooh. I think we're definitely calling the 11 big blind shove from the hijack. If we just think about what hands he's shoving with. I mean, here, we'll get a little poker stove going. So we need 43%. It's 12K to win, 16K. And we have ace jack. And our opponent on 10 blinds is probably shoving. Does that seem fair? All broadways, suited ace and some pairs, it's probably fair. And we have 44 or 45% against that, so that's a clear call. If he's shoving top 15, it's funny, it's more of a call when he's shoving fewer hands, top 15%. And if he's shoving wide, like real wide, it's more of a call. Oh, I was looking at the equities backwards. We're a big favorite every way, so definitely a call. Now when this guy calls, we have to think about what kinds of hands he's calling with and whether he's trapping. If we don't think he's trapping, if we think he's calling because he's ahead of the shover's range, we can ISO. That's really fringe. I think with ace king and ace queen, he's just going to shove it in. So the only things we have to be worried about are slow plays like kings, queens, aces. He could have like a medium pair a fair bit, maybe an ace 10. I could see going either way on this one. Let's see what Mario does. He goes for the ISO, and we're up against nines. And ace king, so even if we win the side pot, we're winning a bit, and that's what we do. So we could have skipped the variance and just folded. Instead, we chip up a tiny bit. Yeah, a tiny bit. It's you know, it's close. Again, like I said in the last video, how much of a gambler are you? Are you the kind of person who has the style where you want to take these spots and try to gamble up the stack? Or are you the kind of guy who wants to just protect your stack more and just play a little more small ball? You could argue it either way. It's personal preference. I definitely like a raise here. And on this flop, I'm thinking check fold. A lot of hands picked up something on this board, and we have no equity when called, so I like to check fold. C-betting is obviously something we want to do a lot, but it's not something you want to do every single time. If you're C-betting 100% of the time, you probably have a flawed strategy, and you want to evaluate, you know, which boards it's just not the right play on, and in which positions it's not the right play. Okay, new table. Couple of deep stacks. We see our boy Josh is back. This guy's got a big stack, so he's probably opening quite a bit. And I think I like to see a 3-bet. Nice. If you think people are opening with a wide range, you want to attack them with 3-bets a lot more than if someone was opening tight. Like if that guy was a short stack opening, probably just folding the ace-jack. But given that he could be in there with a wide range, we can definitely get in there with some 3-bets. And now he's limping, so maybe this guy's a little fishy. Got like an ISO. Try to play pot heads up, and okay, so he's just kind of a clown. Whatever. And we're going to go into fold mode for a bit, which is something that happens in tournaments, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know, if you have a nice stack, you lose very little by folding in terms of percentage of your stack, so unless you are a really short stack, you shouldn't feel the pressure too much. Mario decides to call here. I mean, he's 50 big blinds deep, and he's getting a slight discount, so that's fine. It is tough to get paid out of position. So like set mining here isn't like super good, but if this guy's really tight, it's awesome. And you know, we're trying to win a massive pot, and I assume we're check folding on all other flops, so I think that's okay. Like on this board, we're just check fold. I'm interested to know if anyone folds there, or if everyone calls there, or if you guys really do it depending on the opponent. Let me know. We could open this, and if the big blind shoves, we'll just call them. We're going to be getting a good price, but Mario opts to fold. I think it's a strong enough hand to open, and like if the guy shoves, you're flipping for like what, 6 bigs? It's not a lot, so. Okay, so we steal with the ace-jack. That's cool. Not going to be playing ace rags or king rags or 8 rag, but a suited ace is good. Okay, so the blinds have gone up. We now have 40 blinds. Again, we're just bouncing around tables. And I think I like a c-bet on this board. We've got a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Also, if our opponent called with Broadway cards, he's whiffed this board. And if he has a small pair, yeah, maybe he'll call one on this board, but there's going to be a ton of turns that we can just 2-barrel and take him off on. And that's kind of one of those turns. Like, I don't think he's going to have a 9 very often at all. And when we fire twice, he can't really call again with small pairs, and he's got to fold his float. So I think I like to see a 2-barrel here. And we get raised. Weird. What's he representing here? If he just called, it'd be like 45K in the middle, and a pot size bet left. And if he had trips, like, so I'm just thinking if he had like a full house or trips, why he wouldn't just call and let us keep barreling. So it's like he's trying to move us off a hand. Tough spot though, really tough spot. There's 60K in the middle. We have 60K in our stack. We're 2-bailing. Our opponent's saying he doesn't care. In the tank, and Mario clicks him back because he doesn't think he's repping too much, and he takes it down. And that is some good hand reading, some good game, and some good confidence. Well played. I didn't even know if he had room to make a click there, or if he wanted to go with the hand if he had a shove. But that's pretty strong. When you think your opponents are messing with you, sometimes you just gotta throw in one more bet, see what happens. If it's a spot where things seem kind of fishy and the raise doesn't make that much sense, well, usually it's because they don't have too much and they're ready to release their hand. To any further action, I guess Kevin was just trying to do a cheap steal. 16 big blind reshove when we raised under the gun. I think we should fold. He probably doesn't expect us to fold when he has like 15, 16 big blinds when we raised under the gun. So that probably means he just has a hand that he's comfortable going with against an under the gun opening range, which is typically tight. He's probably got a better hand than ace jack. Good discipline. And we'll look at that. 11 blind shove. Are you guys calling here? Or are you guys folding? I think it's a little thin to call. But I don't know about this opponent. I don't know his shoving range, so can't be sure. I think the fold's fine. They're like, yeah, we have the big blind in there. We're getting a slight discount, but we really don't have that much committed to the pot. We need 43% equity. You guys can stove it. Do some stoves, see against what shoving range you would call with, you'd be getting the right price with, and then see if you think he's actually shoving with that wider range. Okay, we have ace king, and we got to go with this. It's 40 blinds against the under the gun opener, and obviously the reship, but I think we just click it back here, make it like 24K. And if Kara shoves, well, we just gamble. Hope we have the best hand. And we flop a king. Always nice to win flips. Good game, JDPC. And here, again, these spots, they're the tweener spots. Do you want to 3-bet and call off? Or do you want to just call, keep their range wide? You guys opening on 18 bigs, playing 7-handed. Pair of 10s is a pretty strong hand, and even if we end up losing an all in here, we still have 80K, which is 40 big. So I think I'm 3-bet calling here. And Mario goes with the real small size, give his opponent maximum room to ship it in. It's a flip, and we hold. 5x raise, gotta respect those. Ace 10 suited, it looks good, but 5x raise is probably a big hand because most people who are raising 5x are not professionals, they are amateurs, and most amateurs in tournaments are going to be playing tighter on average than the professionals. Take the pot odds, peel, take a stab. No 2-barrel? Wow. Got all the money in good. This might look like a crazy peel to some people pre-flop. But if you look at the price we're getting, 2,400 to win 9,900, 4.1 to 1. We need 19.5% equity. Even against pocket aces, we do have that much equity with 7 deuce. So the fact that it's suited, I think the peel's fine. Okay, we're not calling that 4x. And not going to call a raise with 6-8 suited. Definitely going to open 7s and same spot as the 6s. If we think she's 3-betting a lot, we could just be all in. This time we're getting a slightly better price, and so I don't think we can fold. So I'm going to guess Mario calls. Seems to be a style. We flop a boat, and we got to call at least 1 bet here. And then you'd think we improved our hand, but we didn't, right? Style ace is full of 7s. Hopefully she shuts down, and we just bet and take it down. I'd imagine he bet there to protect against, well, not to protect, to just charge Kara, you know, if she had like 2 overcards or something. And I'd imagine if we got check called, our plan's to just check back the river, and if we get check shoved, we should probably just fold. But, you know, you gotta see those streets. You gotta take your opponents to the streets and make them really earn those pots. So king queen under the gun. We're gonna open here. I like a peel. We have a pretty strong hand. We're getting a great price. We can hit some flops, and we're not folding a gut shot. I think check call is the play. I could also see merit to check raising, but with the backdoor flush draw to go with the gut shot, I think we want to see another card. We don't want to necessarily check raising and risk getting shoved on and we just lose all our equity. And that's a good turn for us. Really good. It also makes the board a little messy. So if our opponent has that big hand, he might start to pot control, but he may also bet to like protect against, again, like all the draws that are coming in, because there's a lot of bad rivers. I think I like a small lead here, and that's what Mario does. And I don't even think you need to make it that big, because if we bet 8K and he calls, there will be 40 in the middle and 34 behind. So we'll be able to comfortably get it in by the river. Also, there's no terrible river card for us. You know, our action gets killed a little bit on an 8, 10, king, maybe board pair, but I think it's worth taking the risk. I do like the lead, though. I don't think we're going to get two-barreled here that often because that jack looks like it connects with the hands that we're peeling with. You know, if we have a queen king, we turn to gutter. If we have a jack 10, we turn to pair. If we have a 9-10, we turn to open ender. So we're probably not folding to the next bet. So unless he's value betting, he's probably not going to bet. And if he has a value hand, he's probably not folding to our lead anyway. So here we're going to raise, take it down. And we're going to raise here. And for, oh, it's our buddy Kevin. I think our hand's too strong. It's a shove of less than 20 big blinds. We can easily afford it. We're getting 1.4 to 1. If we call and lose, we still have 160K. A lot of chips. And I mean, we have a pair. It's a pretty good hand. And this guy can be reshoving all pairs. And a lot of hands we're flipping with too. So let's get it in there. Let's gamble. Another flip. Flop a set. It's good to run good. Got to raise this ace jack. And I think betting here and checking here are both fine. I'd probably be inclined to bet. And that's annoying. Call to keep him honest. Hope that he shuts down. Yeah, we're out of here. We just think about what hands your opponent's check raising with, and then whether you want to commit with it. Because if we call the turn, we have to go with it on the river. And I think the pot's just getting a little bit too big. That's why there's also merit to checking the flop. You guarantee that the pot is at most going to be 2 more bets on the turn and river, so it won't get inflated crazily like that, and you prevent your opponent from, you know, bluffing you out with the draw that he decided to play aggressively. Okay, some folds, folds. Gotta fold, gotta fold, gotta fold, gotta fold, gotta fold, gotta fold. All right, 7-8 suited. So put him in for 10 bigs. Cool. The hand has great equity against many of the hands that we're going to be playing against. It's only 10 big blinds. We're picking up a good amount if he folds here. 7K, we're risking 30K to win 7K, and he's just going to be folding a ton of the time. And even when he does call, we have 40% most of the time. In the rare case, he has an overpair, 20%, so it's cool. Yeah, and we're live, pretty live. Wow, really live. Wow, how do you break there? Seems insane. Oh well, on to the next one. 10 big blind shove from middle position. Don't need to be a hero with ace 8. Definitely folds. Go for a little steal here. And I think for 1,600 more, getting 11 to 1. We're going to be calling here with the ace 8. Nice hole. Don't really know why that guy put it in with the 9-6 off, but LOL tournaments, right? Okay, we're stealing from our short stacked friend, just really flexing our big stack muscle. On to the next one. Obviously gonna raise fours. I think this king two suited could open. Definitely don't have to. I don't know what stage we're at in the tournament, given that we're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-handed. Let's see, 18. We're probably pretty deep. This might actually be the final 2 tables. I might have to start watching more hands. Cooler. Okay. We got some rags. And just can't call all-ins with Jack 9. Don't want to open 5 highs. These hands are just absurd, absurd brutal. Not even any consideration again. This is a hand that looks good, but the high card value just isn't there. Not really a necessary open, especially with some deep stacks behind. Okay, now we got some hands we can open. King Kong. Min piece, just the blinds. Suited wheel draw, min piece, again, just the blinds. No king 6 off, no 10-6 off. King 6 suited. Someone got the raise in first, so we'll let him take it. It's very important to be the first person in when you're trying to get those steals. Talking about the gap concept introduced by David Sklansky, it takes a much stronger hand to call a raise than it does to just open a pot yourself. So just because you had a hand you wanted to raise doesn't mean you should see a flop if someone else raises first. You really want to tighten up your restrictions for continuing when someone else opens the pot ahead of you. Anyway, this one we're opening for sure. And 3-bet by a big stack. Where's the button? We have position. Getting a pretty good price, and we're like over 50 bigs deep. I think we have to see a flop here. Could 4-bet, but I think the hand's a little too good to 4-bet and risk getting blown off of. Ace 10 suited can flop pretty strong. So let's take it to the street, shall we? Heads up, top. Obviously gonna call that C-bet. I don't really see any purpose in raising here. If anyone does raise here, please let me know why. I think it's a clear call. Just let the guy keep barreling. If he has an overpair, he's going to get the money from us anyway. But by just calling down, we keep his range as wide as possible so we can extract some value from his bluffs as well. That river is pretty nice, and that decision is pretty easy. Do you guys think he's bluffing? Let's find out. Tough river, bro. So we got pretty lucky on this hand. I don't know if Mario's plan was to fold the river if he bricked off, but given how much was already in the middle and the fact that we flopped that strong in a 3-bet pot, it would be pretty tough to find a fold. Really depends on what we know about Adam Penguin. If he's a very solid player, then maybe he's not going to 3-barrel with air. You know, like even if you picked up a draw, maybe he's not going to put in the 3rd bullet with air, so we can actually fold the river. But on this particular river, the decision was fairly easy, and now we are sitting with a big old pile of chips. 376,000 at 3,400 big blind. We got over 100 bigs. We're down to the final few tables, and this is when it starts to get real fun and real interesting. Anyway, I think it's a good spot to wrap it up, so I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when the next part is released. And if you have any hand histories of you winning a multi-table tournament that you want reviewed, please send them over to evan@grips.com. For the sake, though, of me not getting overwhelmed with too many requests, since everyone and their mom wants me to review their hand history, I'm going to make the requirements that there are a minimum of 200 players in the tournament and a minimum first place prize of $5,000. If you chop the tournament for that much or more, that's perfectly fine. I'm happy to review that. It doesn't have to be an outright win, but I'd like it to be, you know, a sizable tourney. And as always, make sure you guys get talking in the comments so that you can get the maximum learning experience from watching this video. Remember, passive observation is a great starting point, but asking questions and getting involved in constructive discussion is where the real learning happens. Don't just talk about, you know, these couple of hands where we got lucky and we won some flips, because we did that, but you're going to have to do that to win tournaments. The times you don't win flips are the times that you lose the tourney. So try to notice the little things that really made a difference in helping our hero achieve victory. That's going to do it for me. Hope you guys like the info and can put it to good use. It's your turn. Go out there and get stacking.